What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. What's going on, Eero Bremer? We got Cash Best in the building. How you guys doing?
Hey guys,
Good. How
doing
about you
good.
guys?
Kicking butt
It's
and
been
taking
a
names one day at a time, right?
long week. I'm glad it's Friday.
Me too.
yeah. Yeah, I actually ended up taking Wednesday off. Here it is already Friday. It seems like when you take a vacation, it just flies by. But when you're at work, it seems like you cannot reach Friday quick enough. Never fails.
It's almost the opposite for me. When I go out, travel for work, it's some of the most amazing. I mean, we work weekends. Friday we set up, Saturday and Sunday we have a show. Then we have 5 days to drive, and it's about 20 hours driving time. So we find
Jeez.
3 days to prospect or to swing a metal detector. And by the time I get home, I am dead. And I'm looking forward to sitting on my desk. I'm sitting at the desk. And I'm actually looking forward to standing in the shop and working. It's not quite so hard on my knees and all.
I'm
Well,
jealous.
I was gonna say I'm jealous. That's for sure. I mean, I bet you if I had that kind of mentality, I bet my life would be a little easier, to be honest with you. I feel like working for a corporation is just impossible. I mean, good guys that I work with, but yeah, they work you down to your bones, that's for sure.
Yes,
We
it's a matter of time and age. You'll get there.
Oh, I'm
You'll
sure I
get there.
will. I'm sure
I'm
I
sure.
will. well,
Praise God.
we got some awesome people in the building here. We're gonna go ahead and give a quick few shout outs. I'll try to keep up the best I can here. Fred Messimer, Michael Davis, Rick Stash. What's going on, Rick? Cricket Hooks, Andy, Tina, Stephen Bertrand, David Osterberg. What's going on? Alif Arena. I hope I pronounced that right. If not, slap me later. Let's see. Charles Scarborough. Don Went. What's up, big dog? Christopher Lee McQuilkin. Lee Bruce. Holy much. Justin Dennig, what's up, brother man?
Hey, what's up,
Mr.
Dustin?
Mr. Gemologist. Michael Crawford, what's going on, man? Matthew Rudisil. Let's see. Waza Jones, Philip Berry. Oh, too many to name. Gold Monkey Prospecting. Hope you're doing better, man. Hope your health's doing better for you. I really hope so. That's for sure. Kyle King Prospecting, Dan Rouse, John Pan. All right, let's kick the show off. It's good to see you guys, and I appreciate you guys jumping on. Looks like we got 40 folks watching us right now, so that's absolutely phenomenal, as always. First and foremost, Mr. Cash Best, we got some questions that are going to be tossed your way, so let's rock and roll and make it happen, huh?
I'm full game. I'm ready to go. You
All
start
right.
out by telling me what you want to know, and we'll be running out of time soon.
I want to know it all. First and foremost, as one of the most famous questions we ask on the podcast, how the heck did you get into prospecting, and at what age did you get into prospecting?
Well, I grew up in a rural town in Superior, or in Montana, Superior, Montana. The county name there was Mineral County, and it was named Mineral County because it was known for several different mineral finds, but gold was among them. Other than Helena, Montana, Mineral County was responsible for the second largest uh, gold find in the state of Montana. But as growing up there, the county was 4,500 people. The town I was in nearest was, we were 11 miles out of town.
Oh
The
wow.
town was probably 1,100 people, maybe a less, 1,100 if you count the farmers and stuff in the periphery. My high school was, 21 kids in the graduating class. And I began to work with some people who had gold mines in the summer because they had to put a certain number of hours of maintenance into the mines. And the family that I was working with had a placer mine and a hard rock mine both. And so I played around in that sense from the time I was about 14 or 15 years old and really walked away from it. The price of gold during those days was below $33 an ounce. And so at the end of the week, if they bring the little baby food jars and they'd have like three of them full. And I'm calculating that that was somewhere around 60 ounces of gold.
Jeez.
But
Oh,
it wasn't that
crap.
much money to us, $1,800, $30 an ounce. So we were happy to get, $25 and pizza on Friday. And it was just camping out and having fun. But we learned a lot of stuff. We learned did a lot of things the hard way. I think my most eventful time was driving a backhoe down the logging roads to get it back down to town, and it had a small hydraulic leak in the in the
In the arm.
in the arm. Yeah, so it had a loader in the front and an arm like this in the back, and if I didn't pull it up, it would hit the ground. And so you pull it up, and so as you drive along, and you go back up again. But it woke me up. I was driving down the road, and the bucket hitting the ground actually woke me up.
Oh,
So I
geez.
had been driving with my eyes closed, sleeping, keeping on the road. The subconscious mind was doing the job, but it took that to wake me up. And that was when I figured out that for the money, the gold mining wasn't safe, wasn't the safest thing in the world, but it was a lot of enjoyment. And I got back involved in it sometime right around the beginning of the gold rush days. Once I found out that that was all TV drama, it really wasn't about prospecting, I went back in the water and was able to find gold fairly quickly. And I've been blessed with the opportunity to high grade a prospect really easy and quick. I'll find gold here, 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 and here. And then the people can work those holes. I've already got the best stuff out of it just in 2 pans. So I found that it was a lot of fun to do that. And I graduated, this started about 20 years ago. And then I graduated up from that to dredging to, high banking, bought cheap equipment, threw it all away, bought good equipment, decided to start mining with others instead of me because I couldn't afford the trailer and the tractor and the generator and all that stuff. I was running out of the back um, of an Infinity F45, which is basically a big SUV that shouldn't be off the road, all scratched up. And I went from that to doing it professionally, almost by accident. When I got involved with Mike Pung about 6 years ago, and then eventually was there when Gold and Sand came up for sale 2 years ago, summer of 2011. And I got engaged there because I've been making sucker pumps my whole life, trying to make one that worked. It never quite hit the perfect recipe.
Right.
But Red Wilcox in Colorado had developed this, and he pretty much hit the perfect recipe, the closest I could get. I've made a few improvements, but so that's where it's gone from. It's gone full cycle. I think my best mining opportunities have been the sniping and dredging because it's just less work. It's easier on your knees and your ankles and everything else.
Oh, big
Um,
time. Big time.
I've had a couple of good falls. I think I've fallen worse fishing than I did mining, though. So I can,
I can't count how many times I have eaten shit while I was fishing. I
yeah,
can't. Yeah,
yeah.
I had a good buddy of mine. We go out fishing quite a bit, and we went out one night, and we'd had a few beers, and he's in a wheelchair, and next thing because it's pitch black, going night fishing. Next thing you know, I hear dum 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 dum. And I look over, and he had rolled off the dock and went swimming.
Yeah, yeah. We used to do a
So,
little night fishing there in near Vancouver, Washington, Lake Merwin, kokanee salmon.
oh yeah.
Anyway, that's pretty much the thing. I've been in and out of playing with gold prospecting since I was 14 years old, and I'm above 60 now, so it's been a long time. I found that I really enjoy finding the gold, and I'm not keen on mining it because I've got bad knees, bad heart, bad back, and bad eyesight. So it's much easier for me to find the gold and then to support the people who are busting their asses to get the gold out of the ground the best I can, and that includes from locating all the way to finishing. I
Right.
can do a finish pan really well. That's how I got involved with Gold Cube as well. I was working with some guys. We were at a dredge camp for a week. There were four of us plus a guy we kicked out, and at the end of the third day, this was a 5-day event. At the end of the third day, there was about 6 or 7 full 5-gallon buckets of concentrate sitting on the side of the creek. And one of the guys went up to his truck and pulled the gold cube out, set it up in the middle of the creek, and just started pouring the conch in there, one scoop at a time. And I watched the tailings drop right into the creek and said, "Hey, whoa, 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 whoa!" And they said, "No, knock yourself out. Get a pan." So I took probably 3, 4 full pans out and panned them up, and I found like 1 or 2 specks in each one of those pans, and I knew that was nothing compared to what we were getting when we were dredging. So
Right.
I felt like, okay, this gold cube is doing the right job. And later, when we had a big rock in the middle of the campground, a big rock that looked like a large, like a card table, 4 feet by 3 feet, about 2.5 feet high, and we had set a big basin on there, and that's where we did all of our finish panning. And so they were just dumping it there. And then as we were breaking up camp, one of the guys said, "Hey, somebody needs to dump that out. Get that basin over in Jeff's truck." And I said, "Wait, hold on, wait." And I started to grab some material out of the bottom of that pan. And I just got the most amazing, slice of the finest gold, just dust gold,
Right.
dust gold. And when I looked at it really closely, I could see this was way smaller than minus 100. This was 200 minus 300 minus 400 minus gold. So if I
Jeez.
figured the gold cube isn't dropping the big stuff back into the river, and it's sure not dropping the little stuff back into the river, because there it was in that pan. And by the time I was done with that, I probably had about 3 grams of ultra fine gold in the bottom of the
Wow.
vial. So I made it to point to go to the gold show because they advertised Gold Cube's going to be there. This is sponsored by the GPAA. Gold Cube is going to be there. I mean, they know that Gold Cube is a draw.
Right.
So I went there and I listened to Mike's presentation and introduced myself to him, and introduced a couple of guys to him that I had met up in Peshastin Creek, and um, you know where that is. I'm sure Blewett Pass area.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time up there.
Right. So there was a guy I met up at the Blue Shaston campground. His name was Dan Miller. He ran a company called Blue Sky Mining,
Yeah,
and
I don't know him, but I've heard of him.
yeah, he's a good guy. He's not doing that now, but when he was doing it, he was bringing people on dredge adventures. And I found him, and I ended up hanging out with him on the last day and helping him carry all the stuff back up to the truck. And he would, feed me the steak and potatoes and stuff. And so that was a good tale to the time I was spending up there. But I went to a couple of creeks there and came back with some really nice pickers, a couple of nuggets. And he said, "No one does that." And I said, "I do that." And so he went the next time. He went to the place I showed him, and he just killed it on the other, going across the creek on the other side of where I told him I was. Well, turns out this creek used to go like this, and then when they put the road in, they stopped it so it could hit up against the road and then goes off and takes off, as opposed to crossing back and forth. And so I had been in one of the places where the old creek channel went across, but the creek had stopped, and I was picking up some pickers there. And he went to the other side where those shot across, and he with his dredge and went to the bottom and really had a really good day there.
Well, no wonder I
So
can't find anything in those dry riverbeds.
no, a lot of those, yeah, you have to look at the old. You can get old maps and you can see where that Peshastin Creek that goes down from that tee off to what's the name of that old German town there?
Oh, Leavenworth.
Leavenworth. Yeah, there's the tee off to Leavenworth, and about a mile before you get to that tee, then you're off of the public land and you're on private land. But then from that going down towards Spokane, or towards the other way, towards North Bonneville, towards Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a really good claims through there. There's 3 or 4 clubs. Most of those clubs have $25 a year membership to get on their claims.
Yeah, I'm probably a member of all of them. So
Yeah, I think I was a member of 2 or 3 of them during that time. But anyway, the when you get the old maps and you look at the way it used to go, and then you look at the way it goes now, then it gives you a really good idea where you could find gold dry and where you could find gold crossing the old channels. Because where that's running alongside the road, that's a new channel. The good news is you're not going to have to go deep to find the deposits in those newer channels. The bad news is you're not going to find vintage deposits in them either, unless you're finding where they're crossing, where the old one came in and out. So anyway, if you're familiar with Peshastin Creek, and some people are in Blewett Pass, that's the story there, except for on the tributaries. There's different stories on each tributary, but that's the story on the main creek. So I went to the gold show and met Mike, and went again the next year and talked to him some more and got to him a little better. Learned he was in Oklahoma City, and my wife's parents were also here in Oklahoma City. Told him, I'll look you up sometime if I ever get out there. Well, life happened, and my wife's parents got sick and had both died. And when her father died, she said, I'm not coming back. She says, I can't handle the clouds in Oregon and Portland and, Portland and Vancouver, the area that I was in. She says, she is depressed. And we lost our little dog at the same time. And so she said, look, I need you to come back here. So off I went to Oklahoma City. And I wasn't happy about it because Northwest is God's country. I mean, look at behind you guys. I mean, you know just what I'm talking about because you've been there.
Oh yeah.
And when we don't have that here in Oklahoma, the gold we have is all minus 100. I mean, we had an outing once at a place up here. Trying to think of the name of the river. There's a campground up here, and there was a guy came up with a flake that was about the size of a peppercorn cut in half. And he was so excited. He ran a mile down a path with this in his pan and had asthma and dropped his phone in the creek because it was the biggest piece of gold he had ever seen. And the other 5 that are in Oklahoma, Mike and I have. So that's all there is. But
that's the best feeling, though, right? I mean, every time you notch your biggest piece of gold, right? I mean, because that's the game we're playing. It's okay. This is my biggest piece. I got to beat that.
He was excited. I can see comments coming up and down the screen, and I'm sorry I'm not addressing them.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got a few here from Mr. Frank Higgins. He says, I got some of Cash Best's maps for Quartzville when he moved to Oklahoma.
Yeah, Frank and I used to run around the hills a little bit together. Frank was a big nugget bucket guy until he found some adult mining toys. Right, Frank? But yeah, he and I have played around in the Quartzville area and on the Molalla River as well. And those are just like if you know where the gold is and if you've been there enough, you can figure out where it is. My biggest day ever of single gold by myself was sitting on the Quartzville River in a flood, high water, and I was up where there was another creek coming in. It was swirling around behind, and I found a rock to sit on, and I set my bazooka sluice up to where it swirled out and dropped out. I got good flow there, and I sat on that rock and just put all the mud from the flood into that bazooka. Literally came out of there with 4 or 5 grams of fine gold at the flood, high flood zone. It was one of my best ever, just throwing dirt from the shovel into the sluice box days. And people talk about the bazooka sluice not working. Hey, it worked for me. I still have that too. In fact, Dan Rouse is on. I sold Dan one of my smaller ones, and then I bought it back from him. Because
that's awesome.
Dan.
I love this box.
There's a Dennis Peterson posted all the clubs that are up and down Blewett Pass. If anybody's interested, Darren, can you?
Yeah, he says I think he spelled that wrong.
Yeah, well, you know how to.
Peshastin Creek is mostly claimed up, but WPMA, NAMA, Yakima Prospectors, NCWP, and Bedrock Prospectors are all the clubs to talk to. Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate you bringing that up. Let's see. We got a few more comments we're going to run through here, trying to get to them all. Mr. Don Wentz says, I've still got my 2 bazooka sluices, 2 sniper, and the medium-sized one.
Yes, you can't go bad hanging on to that because when the conditions are right, it's a fluid bed sluice. If those who don't know what the bazooka is, it's a fluid bed sluice. You feed the top. It's got grizzly bars to keep anything smaller than about 3/8 from dropping into the fluid bed, and then it overpasses. So you can put the shovel right onto it in the right flow. And as long as the bottom section remains fluid, the gold will continue to drop in there. I have never filled the box so full that I feel like it was losing gold.
Right.
So I guess what that translates to is I'd feed that once I got it running right for 3 or 4 hours before I'd empty it out. I value the set.
I've got a buddy who's got one, and the last time we went out, he ran it, and yeah, I was super impressed. You got to have a lot of water, but it runs good. I mean,
yeah,
I haven't seen. I actually haven't seen one of those in action, to be honest with you. I've seen them in a couple of videos, but I haven't seen one up and close and to see how it really works. But I've heard nothing but good things about them. I mean, I haven't heard anything bad about them. That's for sure.
We've got some travels coming up. We're leaving tomorrow or Sunday early, and we're going to be in. We're going up to Washington for next weekend. That what is it place called?
You're down there. You're doing down by Vancouver, right?
No. It's Kashmir.
Oh, you're going to be at the Kashmir Gold Show?
Right. We're going to be at the Kashmir Gold Show, and then after that, we're going to drive down to Portland. We're going to do something in Battleground, which is about 15 miles north of Portland in Clark County, on the 22nd, and on the 23rd, we're going to be further down at Lawson Bar in Southern Oregon. And then the following weekend, we'll be out in Baker City. So we've got some outings planned. Mike will be with me. We travel together. But I'll bring that bazooka sluice. And if there's, and I'll give this to you, Eero. Eero, you're in Seattle. Jared, you're in Spokane.
Spokane, yes, sir.
If you can get us to a good place on Monday where we can put the bazooka to work, I'll bring the bazooka. So there's got to be a little bit of flood water, some good high flow, and a way to set it up. Setting that thing up is the
what you're
this
going to
is
be
not
right.
a bazooka commercial, but
you're going to be out of 45 minutes away from Blewett, right around there. Because you come down, if you come down Blewett to the Leavenworth side and hang a right, I think that takes you up to Kashmir. So
well, yeah, I think you're right. Yes, but anyway, I'm saying I'll throw the bazooka in the truck so that we'll have it. If we manage to put something together, Jared, you'll be able to use that sluice box and see how it works.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's a real good box during high flow. It's a real good box. This isn't this isn't a bazooka commercial, and I think they're in business. There's another company called Aurora, and then there's a third one.
Sunny Prospecting out of Colorado, I think, bought the patent or whatever, and they're starting to reproduce them.
Yeah,
I think
so. Back, if you want to go to questions, that's fine. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to story.
Yeah, I got some more comments here that I want to run through real quick. We got one from Gold Monkey Prospecting that says, "You can tell that Cash is a very knowledgeable man." Yes, indeed. All these years doing what he's been doing, I pray that he is a knowledgeable man in this field.
I think that my memory is not as good as it used to be, but my back and my heart, my strength is a fraction of what it used to be. So what I can do now is I can try to be smart about what I do. Same results, less effort. And so you can chalk it all up to that. Laziness.
Eero knows a little bit about that. Rick got a good picture of him sitting there laying on the bar when they went out digging. And
there was a giant flat rock that had the perfect sluice set up right in front of it. So I would bring my buckets on it and then lay down on the rock and feed the sluice.
Oh, man.
It was perfect.
Well, sometimes being a little lazy, there's no problem with that, especially when you're out in the country and you're enjoying yourself. You kind of need some R&R when you're out there, You hit it too hard and body can't handle it over the years, it just gets worse and worse.
I'm getting tired of wearing out the boots.
Yep.
And the knees, the knee pads. It's all about the clothing.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. we'll just put it that way. I learned that. I got so damn cooked and so mosquito bitten on our 9-day road trip. By the third to the last day, I was done. I was just done. I don't care. Screw this road trip. I want to go home. I was just so done. And that's mainly because I wasn't I didn't have the proper protection, the proper clothing on. That still comes with age. I mean, most of the times I am prepared and ready to rock and roll, and other times I get a little too ahead of myself and don't wear the proper clothing and burn like a lobster, and it doesn't feel good. If you get a good sunburn and you add mosquito bites on top of that, you are in extremely miserable pain. It is not fun. Not fun at all.
Right. When we travel the way we do, we'll be in Redding, California in 85-degree weather, and then we'll be in 30 inches of brand new snow heading south in Colorado to get back down to New Mexico and go home. So we have to have whatever you pack. We have to have like 3 different layers for everywhere we go, and we pray to God that we don't get wet when it's cold outside.
Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah.
prayed as best as we could in the first 3 days. We had nothing but downpours. It was pretty that was pretty brutal. And then Rob, our good friend of ours that came with us on this 9-day road trip we did, he put his bag with all of his clothes in the one corner that started leaking. And got all of his clothes completely soaked.
That happened to me once. I bought these little tables that you pop up, and then all my bags are sitting on those tables. It only took one time though. I haven't done it twice.
I felt pretty bad. It was not fun. We were trying to start a fire, and no matter what we tried, we were not able to start a fire. We were cold. Yeah, the first 3 days was pretty brutal. Pretty brutal.
Yeah, that Blewett Pass is good for that. The rain will come through hard and heavy.
Oh, I love it up there, man.
The wind blows tents over here.
I love it up there, but I love North Washington even more.
Yeah.
Northern Washington.
Yeah.
Boss Dog Mining and Prospecting says, question. Go ahead and pop that question in there, buddy. I got a few more comments we're going to run through, and then we'll continue with the show here. Dennis said he was taking off. So, Dennis, you have yourself a good evening, and I appreciate you jumping on the podcast this evening. Let's see. We got another one here. Let's see if I can find it. James H. Butler says, I have an Aurora. I had a bazooka with Grizzlies and without. Definitely need flow. However, Angus with Alaskan Flare is my go-to. Awesome. Good deal.
Angus McCurk, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's a guy out there. He's actually now in Oklahoma, but he was up in central Washington. Geosluice Mining. He makes plastic, sluice boxes, and he's got a California drop riffle sluice box. It has a tilt flare so that the water comes in and pushes it down, and then it drops through the drop sluices. That's the only sluice box that Mike and I use now. It's we've seen that sluice box in action enough, and we've used it so many times that that's pretty much the only one we carry around now due to both weight and space concerns. So it was similar to the Angus McCurk in terms of the flow and the self-classifying, because it doesn't drop in; it goes right through the
drop riffles.
The riffles.
It just rolls over the top.
Right, and most of the plastic sluices do that fairly well. The Angus McCurk was very similar to that. We had Mike and I were out at an outing or at a claim one time, and somebody put us onto a really cool claim. We went out there and we looked around, and we thought we'd rather be sluicing than metal detecting, because we caught it, took a couple pans out. Well, we didn't have a sluice box. And so we had a guy who was familiar with the area and had talked to us. We called him up and said, hey, how far away are you from here? Can you bring us a sluice box? And sure enough, he brought one down. He brought down a nice Angus McCurk sluice. And then we were running the material through it. And he said, see how that, after each sluice, he says, see how that starts to back up a little bit? He grabbed a little stick and started swishing. You got to clean it out. You got to clear those riffles. You got to clean it out. And we could see the gold flying right out the riffles as he cleaned it out about 3 or 4 times. And at the end of the work, we didn't tell him, of course. He was courteous enough to bring it out there. But at the end of running through that material with him, we ended up with less in the cleanup from the sluice box, from about 4 or 5 buckets of material, than we did in our first 2 or 3 test pins, because he got the stick and switched it out. You got to keep these riffles clean, or they're not going to catch any gold. And he's just dumping he didn't understand the concept of the passive exchange behind the riffle.
Right.
He's looking for more of a an active exchange like you would behind a Hungarian riffle sluice.
Right.
But we still laugh about that. And that's probably been almost 8 years ago. Mike and I still laugh about that whenever we're out with the sluice box. I'll grab a stick and say, "You got to get those riffles. You got to keep them clean."
Jeez.
You didn't tell him you were testing his tailings and finding you weren't finding anything.
Actually, that's a good question, because I did tell him that's when I figured I had to meet the guy, because the gold cube was just proved to be extremely effective in that particular scenario. Now we've taken the gold cube up to Cape Disappointment, and if you overfeed the cube, gold gets away. You have to go slow. You have to really relax and enjoy that day, because you could put through 3 buckets and get just as much gold than if you put through 10 at too fast of
Right.
feed, right? So there's other mats that might be more effective. I don't know who has that mastered. We've met lots of people up there though, and there are some. I mean, we had somebody trade a vial of really, really, really fine gold for some equipment that he had gotten from there. It takes a long time to get an ounce of that Cape Disappointment gold.
Yeah.
And then now they've changed the rules multiple times, so it's hard for us to get in there and actually have the fun we used to have. It's not quite a collective group experience like it used to be.
Right.
Well, you can, if you contact Dennis Peterson, he has the form to get the exemption on the NPDES permit, and then they
Right.
give you an expedited HPA.
And you have to have the permit already filed, and it's a brand new guy too. I mean, we follow that pretty closely. Mike's equipment is used is fairly extensively out there, just like it is up in Michigan. I haven't been to Michigan though. He could keep that cold water.
Yeah, I was able to meet Mike Pung over there at the Idaho Gold Show they had. He's an awesome guy. I mean, you could tell he is very knowledgeable in what he does and the cube that he has. And I mean, anywhere I've gone, anybody I've talked to, everybody has the gold cube. The thing that it makes me so excited is when people start mixing different products up to work for their benefit, for what dirt they have, what kind of material they run, they swap this out or swap that out and, bring it to people's attention and, people are like, well, maybe that might work for me. And they go out and buy the product and they try it out and they love it and it starts working for them. That's the exciting thing. But we have a few more comments here I wanted to run through. Let's see. Boss Dog Mining and Prospecting actually had a very good question. Let's see. Raymond Corres says, "Hola, gents. Thanks for the mat, PB. No worries, brother man. Looks great in my prospecting sluice, and the ore is safely on my prospecting finds shelf. Pan on. Good to see you, brother man. Good to see you. He is based out of Colorado. He goes and digs with Westmoreland, and they have, oh man, they're just doing phenomenal over there. They're just killing it. But anyways, Boss Dog Mining and Prospecting. I'm sure this question is for you and for you only, Cash. If you could only own one gold pan, one river sluice, one high banker, and one dry washer, what would you own?" And then at the very bottom, he says, "P.S. and only one metal detector."
Okay, so it's the question went away. It's gold pan.
Oh, it's right there. I'll keep it up.
Okay, the gold pan would be the Garrett Super Sluice. It's just so versatile. And you can do finish work with that. If you sand it down and you're careful with it, you can even do finish work with it. So the Garrett Super Sluice would be the pan. You can carry it anywhere, and when you drop it, it doesn't crack. I had a good Martin pan that cracked when I rolled the truck over it, so I guess that was too hard for it.
You can't run them over, Cash. You can't do
it was
that.
It was an Infinity. It wasn't a real truck. The river sluice I would use it's going to be hands down that California drop riffle sluice by Geosluice Mining, and y'all check that out, geosluicemining.com. I've gone through 3 high bankers. One was a throwaway that I bought from some China manufacturer. The second one was a Royal high banker that wasn't hardy enough for me. He makes some good stuff, but I didn't buy the right size. And then the big gold hog, super. I don't know what they call the big one. It's got like 2 extensions. So anyway, it was about a $1,200 high banker. We used that one. It uses a powered 1-inch gas motor. You can't use those in a lot of places anymore. But that would be the one that I would take with me. And the dry washer is going to be a mini vac dry washer, because that vac can double up as you grab the bottoms of those crevices and you scratch them out as good as you can. That's going to pull the gold out of there. So those little vac dry washers that are about 5 inches wide, and they're about 13 or 14 inches, and they run purely out of air. There's not and shake and air.
Right.
It's got that little weight underneath that does this.
Are you talking about who makes those?
Well, I've seen several different models.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Good friend of mine, Stephen Bertrand, I believe, has one. Stephen, if you're on here and you got the name of it,
And that
post it
little
in the
vac
comments.
pack fits on a bucket, just on a regular bucket, clamps down.
Yep.
So you could switch out from one bucket to the next.
Yep.
And then you could have 5 or 6 buckets.
No, those are freaking sweet, man. I mean, you could
Yeah,
really go to town on some
It's just
tracks
an
with that.
off-center weight that causes a vibration.
Yeah, the off-center weight down on the
Yeah.
bottom of this lower box. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Where the riffles are. See, that dry washer doubles up because you can use that vac pulling out material from dry crevices to put in the bag and to take with you to the sluice box or to the gold cube, right? So you don't have to blow all that stuff away. Once you get it wet, gold will submerge, but when the gold isn't wet, it'll want to float. It'll displace the water and try to float. I think that's what I would use. I don't have the back for a lot of dry washing, and the metal detector is the GPX 6000 by MindLab. If anyone who's used a MindLab Monster knows the sensitivity level, how easy it is to pinpoint the Gold Monster 1000. A lot of those attributes are on, but the Gold Monster 1000 gives you ferrous or non-ferrous. It gives you a signal. But the GPX 6000 doesn't do that. It's a pulse induction machine. It just tells you there's a target here. So if you're spending your time in populated garbage areas like the old multiple tilled over fairgrounds parking lot or something, it's going to be
Seaside Oregon beaches.
frustrating. Well, you'll find jewelry there, but it'd be frustrating.
I didn't.
Machine, pulse induction machine in junk areas. But if you're in the gold country with the pulse induction machine, there's these layers. There's this organic layer, and there's a topsoil layer, and then there's a pack layer. And if you're in the pack layer, which is caliche sometimes, or it's hard rock, sometimes it's a volcanic crest, if you're below the organic layer, it's going to be a bullet or it's going to be a snap off of someone's boot or something. But if you're below the topsoil, it's going to be gold, right? So unless it's been mined and there's pieces of rusty steel and stuff like that. So the pulse induction machine is really good. All you do is you take your pick and you scrape off the organic and the topsoil, and then you scan again and you go for the target. If it's up above that, you're going to frustrate yourself with pieces of wire and foil and all kinds of stuff. The gold is not going to be up in those 2 layers. The gold's going to be down in the pack area. So for that reason, a pulse induction machine is what I'd go with. And the reason I would go with that over the Gold Monster is because you can pick up 3 nuggets in a good day with the pulse induction machine. That'll be the total of everything you find with your Monster for a week and a half, because you're getting past that those 2 layers. The Gold Monster may not be getting through those layers. It may be picking up stuff in those layers, but not penetrating deeper than that.
Now, what's the difference in price points on those 2 units?
Okay. Well, first of all, Mike and I are MindLab detector distributor, so you can get them from us. And so these are the prices. I know them by heart. The Gold Monster 1000 is $949. Former military veterans can get a 15% discount.
Wow.
We have them in stock. And then the GPX 6000 is regularly $59.99. And those are on sale right now for 40. They're 25% off, so that's $34.99, $3,500.
Wow.
And is that right? 45? No, 4,500 instead of 6,000. $44.99. And when you put the military discount on that, that is a bargain. And we have 2 of those in stock. In fact, Don, where's Don?
Oh, Don's in here. He's been giving Eero shit, telling him to put some WD-40 on his computer chair.
Yeah, I just heard yours, buddy. Back off.
James, find somebody to go out with you in that Gold Monster and use it with them for a day side by side, and I think you'll be happier with the results of that. Anyway, the metal detector I would use is the GPX 6000. Mike used the GPZ 7000. It's a beast. It probably weighs about 6 pounds more than mine does, and he uses it like a harness and a sling.
The whole works.
Right, and but he gets more gold than I do.
Does that come with like a separate battery compartment, like an extra battery box, or?
Oh, they have a battery about this size right here that just slaps up onto the top of the control unit. It's up back here behind you.
Gotcha.
And, yeah.
Well, that's a nice counterweight then.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I played with that 7000 a little bit. It is a monster. I mean, literally, I put my right hand underneath the shaft and I swing I put my left hand under the shaft and swing like that with it because I didn't put the harness on. But anyway, metal detecting is you've got to go out there over and over and over and over and over, and eventually you get to the point where you just love metal detecting. But when you can't go out 2 or 3 times a year and actually build the momentum that you need to master whatever it is you're trying to do.
It's just like mining. You know, you're not going to find gold unless you go out there a bunch and do it.
I went out. When I started going to Quartzville Corridor, I came back one year. At the end of the year, I had a vial about this full. There probably was about 9 or 10 grams in it. And I said to my wife, I said, next year I'm going to get a full vial. And she looks at me, she says, you're going to need a smaller bottle then.
Always the wife got to bust you in the chops.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, man, she looks good, but she's smarter than she looks too. So there you go.
So I have a question then. Can you kind of give a what's the difference between VLF and PI? I kind of have a general understanding of it. It's kind of in layman's terms for me.
Right.
VLF is detecting visible area. You know, if the coin's on its side, it's going to have a good signal, but if it's on its edge, it's going to have a weaker signal.
There's more than that. It also looks at the difference in the signal that comes back, because it can give you an idea of what the actual metal is. The VLF is going to spend its brain trying to figure out what kind of metal it is, right? Approximately how big it is, approximately how deep it is, and its shape. It's going to work on some of those issues. The manticore, for example, has a couple of different factors that are supposed to do a lot of that. The Gold Monster has some of those features. It can tell you ferrous or non-ferrous. And that's misleading too, because that halo that builds up on something will sometimes throw a ferrous signal. And when you disturb that halo above it, which is the mineralization in the water and all that, has caused that sort of like a creeping of rust, oxidized metal, whatever that metal was.
Right.
When you can break that halo and find it's all non-ferrous and find yourself a wonderful, huge piece of brass. Or a piece of wire or something that somebody dropped off of a vacuum when they were trying to repair it and they couldn't never get it repaired because
is that what they talk about when they're talking about the weeble wobble, high low?
No, that weeble wobble usually has to do with the ground, the sensitivity of the machine to the ground itself. Where when you have a target that has a halo, that halo is going to be very distinctive, and once you break it, then the signal will come back different than it was coming back before. One time I was up in Alaska, and we were checking an area that had a really big mine that had just people had ripped it all up and said there's no gold here because they weren't capturing it. And there was good gold nuggets and stuff in that area, but I've got this amazing non-ferrous signal, and by the time I dug it up, it was a section of pipe, and it was just as rusted steel as you could get. But that rusted steel threw off a signal that didn't flash as fast. So you have to break that signal. But the other thing about the VLF machines is that they're set up for parks, and they're set up for cluttered and garbaged area, and they're set up for area where there's been campgrounds and mining and lots of turnover in the material. The pulse induction machine is going to look at the signal and say, there's metal, or there's a hot rock, which is frustrating. The hot rocks is a whole other thing. But the pulse induction is going to say, there's metal. And remember, I was talking about the layers, the organic layer, the topsoil layer, and then the pack layer. If you're looking for gold nuggets, you're probably going to be looking below the pack layer. If you're looking for someone who lost their bracelet, you're going to want a VLF machine, not a pulse induction machine, because it's not going to be down in the hard rock. It's going to be the scanner that you're
right in the top mid layer. Yeah.
Right. The VLF machines can be programmed to ignore certain codes. If you get a code, you're in an area where a lot of electrical work, but there's all these stupid little steel plugs that came off of the junction boxes, right? Figure out what they sound like exactly and tell the machine, don't beep on those. You're tired of digging those. No, nothing. Same thing where you're in a detector field where they have actually put a bunch of targets, the aluminum discs that they use for, hunts. My lab's got them. Garrett has them. You can say, I don't want that. Boop. You can turn off aluminum. Now you're not going to get the pop tabs and those. Now you can rip through there, just picking out the silver and picking out the copper, right? So the VLF machines give you the brain power that gives you the ability to ignore signals as well. And again, in the pulse induction, nope. It just gives you, there's a sensitivity and volume. Those are about the only two settings you have on that. And then because they are such powerful signal senders, you want to make sure yours is using a frequency that theirs isn't using, because otherwise you'll just start yelling at each other. Your machine yells at their machine, and it blows your ears out. So the VLF is really for the people looking underground for deep targets, pipes, gold, those kinds of things.
Pipes.
Horseshoes. I'm a horseshoe finder. Everywhere I go, I find a horseshoe on people's land. Up in Nome, Alaska, on the mine called the Maddie that used to belong to Wyatt Earp, I got a nice horseshoe, and I got a nice little nugget there too. And so I'm going to put him into a picture box.
Oh, that's so cool. Wyatt Earp was there. That's pretty cool.
And we were doing a place up here that used to have a Spanish mine on it in Oklahoma, and I found a miniature horseshoe, just little bitty little thing like this.
Oh wow!
I said, probably belonged to a donkey.
Wow, that's something else. Holy moly! Well, we got a few more comments here. Let's run through. Let's see what we got here. Kyle's King Prospecting says, that's the reason I got my RPE stream sluice. Super lightweight, added some deep V matting to the flare. Can't wait to test it out when the snow dies down. Yeah,
deep V matting is a good indicator, but the deep V matting will slow your material, and a lot of times those plastic sluices need that flow in order for those pieces not to stop. So you want a combination. You want to make sure that it's doing what you need it to do. I love those indicators because it tells me if I'm still on the gold. A lot of the plastic sluice boxes, if you use black, you can actually see the gold hit the edge of the drop riffle and dance before it drops. So you actually have an indicator in your riffles. But I see the deep V matting at the top of sluice boxes. The first lake I ever found, it was catch and release. It was I was on the top of the box, and it was in the first little section of matting, and it was like, big. It was like this big around. It was like half the size. It would have covered half of a dime. And I went, oh no, that's amazing. And like, what did I do? Guess what I did? I reached into this box.
Oh, you put your finger in there when you shouldn't have put your finger in there. I don't know how many times I did that. I
only did it once, man.
Yeah, I did it a couple different times, and I learned, that's a stupid idea, and let's not do that. Yeah, I learned that.
But I'll tell you what, though, I was talking that over with someone because he had done the same thing. In fact, I really felt bad about this because a guy had come who hadn't done very much, I was helping him set his sluice box up and talking to him about how it works. Hey, Ronnie, I set his up, and there's just a big old picker sitting at the top of this sluice box, and it was pretty early in the morning. It was like 7:30. It wasn't even full light yet. And I said, look at there, there's a big picker. And he said, where? And I pointed at it. And then I finally thought, you know what? I'm going to mess up his set. So I stuck my finger on it and I lifted up the sluice box, and there it stayed because I let the water drain, right? So I figured out how you do it is you press it down and then you lift the sluice box out of its set, and then you can put it in your bottle. I was so desperate. I went to the below my sluice box and was shoveling all the stuff back in when I lost that big flick.
Rerunning.
So I figured, there's got to be. I never did find it.
It's rerunning.
Oh, it's 45 miles downstream now.
Yeah, it's long.
Yeah,
though.
catch and release.
All right, we got some more comments here. Let's see. Another comment says, I seen the gold cube at Benson Beach a few years ago. Cool unit. Let's see.
It's popular. I bet. I don't know his numbers, but I bet you he's sold 60,000 of those in 10 years.
Wow, that's awesome. That's absolutely
They're definitely
awesome.
a cool unit.
Everybody that I've ran into and I've talked to, Fred has one. Fred Messimer, good friend of mine. He loves it. Yeah, I can name so many people that have it. It's a pretty badass product. It really is. It works really good. Rick Stash says, my super sluice pan was my hat until I got my PB hat. Thanks, Jaron. My favorite hat now. Hell yeah, brother, man. It only took almost a year to get it to you.
Super sluice pan. Strap it on.
Yep, strap it on. You ain't got to worry about getting a sunburn or nothing. Let's see here. John Pan says, and hands down, the Garrett Super Sluice for Gold Pan.
Yeah, I agree. I love the two big riffles. You can really work that black sand down.
One thing I'll say about that pan.
Clean it up.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about that pan is you could put a crap load of freaking dirt in those bad boys, and you can get a good test very quickly and very efficiently with how deep those V's are. They're really nice. I think the only problem I've ever had is I got minor arthritis, so it's very hard for me to put too much in my pan. I gotta, kind of work a little bit on smaller amounts because my thumbs. I mean, I work with my hands every single day, and so it gets kind of tough. But I will say those are some badass pans. They really are. They're great pans.
What you want to say on that with the pan is don't overload it in flood conditions, because when you put that pan down in the water, the weight of that pan is so high that it'll pull you over sometimes. So if you're in deep water, don't overload that pan. I've come off a rock more than once because you load it all up and you're trying to get it and swish it, and you lean forward, and there's like a half a bucket of material in that pan. Be careful.
Oh yeah.
That Gold Grabber used to have one, that kind of oval shape pan.
Yeah, that was a funky one. I never got around to actually trying it out, but
there's two. He has a big one that's oversized. It's like the Garrett Super Sluice, only a different shape, square back instead of a round back on it. But the little one actually fits in a bucket, so you can take a bucket of water up to a prospect that's dry, and you can pan into that bucket with that little Gold Grabber pan.
Right.
I have a couple of those. Mike's got a couple too, and that's the reason that I use those, is because I can pan with those using a bucket of water. So if you can get to a prospect where you thought over and over again, man, I should just bring a bucket of this down to the creek. No, just bring a bucket of water up. Scrape down to the crevices and cracks, sweep it out, and pan it a few times. And you'll learn in a hurry whether or not you want to do something more with it.
Oh yeah. It's the Garrett Super Sluice pan. I tell you what, I was using it out in Montana with an old buddy of mine, and he kept saying this, that, and the other, and I'm like, well, I'll have to see for myself. And I started flashing that damn thing back, and just 15, 20 colors, 25, 30 colors. I mean, I lost it. I couldn't believe it. It just blew my mind. I mean, they weren't very big pieces, but it all adds up. And the nice thing about that pan was just the amount of material that was in there, being able to see that much color from where they were digging was just mind-boggling, blew my mind. And the pan was extremely efficient, very fast. Okay, well, this is where we're going to dig. 10 minutes later, you knew exactly what was in that dirt, and worked out good. It's a good pan, that's for sure. Don Wentz says Gold Monster is great for also checking +10 tailings.
You go through the Gold Monster is also going to give you a signal on iron and copper, right, on other metals. So if they're a lot of times gold follows veins that have other mineralization in them, and so those tailings are going to have the part when they break away from the vein, and they're just focusing on the rich ore. They're going to be throwing stuff down, so you're going to get a lot of signals that aren't what you're looking for, but you'll also find some real good signals. So people have pulled some really nice, fairly good sized specimens out of tailing piles. Remember that the throw on the Gold Monster is not as deep as with some other machines. So the other thing to do is to take a really good sized pick and to scatter that pile down, pull it down, scan it, pull it more down, scan it, pull more down, scan it. Because if all you're doing is scanning the top, you've scanned where everybody else has. And that's going to be less effective for you. But I agree with him on that.
Yeah, for sure. We got some more here. Let's see. Another Facebook user, and just as a heads up, guys, if you guys do want your name in when I bring these comments up, it's pretty straightforward. You just log into StreamYard, and it allows you to have your name on there. If not, and you're okay with Facebook user, it's a pain in the ass. I got 2 screens going. I got 3 tabs open. It's impossible for me to know specifically who says what when I'm looking at the comments over here on StreamYard. Anyways, now that that's out of the way, lots of gold detected in the organic material here in Shasta County, California. Many reasons for it. I have also found lead rounds 15 inches below the organic area. Most areas have had 180 years of cover up.
So I understand the lead rounds in the below the organic area because lead is going to bury itself just like gold is. But if gold is in the organic material, there's been other things moving that dirt around. That dirt hasn't been sitting there content for many, many years because the gold is simply not going to stay. I'm not saying you won't find it. What I'm saying is you're going to find like 999 out of 1,000 targets aren't gold in that organic material. If you want to pull it and scrape it, I mean, if you're metal detecting and you're trying to pull material out of organic material, you pull it over and you skate and then it's gone. You look over there and you pull it back and there it is, and now it's gone again. You find out it's a little piece of wire that flips, right? Boink, 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 and it took off, and now your target's missing. I mean, it's very frustrating. I believe that they find them there. I don't find that it's an effective use because I'm going to go out and swing for the next target. But so everybody has their own way.
Right.
I wanted to talk about a little bit about when I moved to Oklahoma. Let me go back to my story.
Yes, let's do it to it. I'm trying to keep up with comments, and there's no way we're going to be able to do it.
No, well, you know what? Let's do this again in a month or two.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Mike said, look me up when you get here. So I got here to the house. She inherited the house, and that's where we ended up living. And I looked up Mike, and on the Google map, his pin and my pin were in the same place. His house is 1.2 miles from here.
Wow.
So his shop is just like down one road and over. And so I managed to go over there. And the first night we probably, in the gold room there, we probably hung out until like 1 o'clock in the morning, playing with gold and just visiting. And eventually I ended up working with him. I put together the gold cubes. I glue all the mats in the trays. I helped him with warehousing and helped him, put together his picks and stuff. And then in summer of 2021, his partner, Red Wilcox, decided he wanted to sell golden sand. And when he said something about selling golden sand, Mike knew I was looking for a change. This is the T-shirt. The evolution of people think that's the evolution of people. It's not. It's the evolution of gold mining. So
I love it. I absolutely love it. So to get onto that topic a little bit more in depth, when he was willing to sell the company, Was he just done with what was going on with it, or was he looking to retire and just? I mean,
Well,
what kind of? Yeah.
he's operating Airbnbs, and that was taking up the majority of his work. There's 95 parts in a golden sand. All the cutting of the pipes, all the fit. This is Quick Sniper, one of my accessories. All the cutting of the pipes, all the gluing, all the everything.
Oh
It
yeah.
takes a lot of time to put one of these together. And when he'd get an order for 5 or 6 of these, he'd have to drop everything and go put them together. And if he would get an order for 20 of these, he'd
Right.
go into back orders. And it just got to be where he felt like he didn't have the energy to run this in the Airbnb. His return for each hour was much higher on Airbnb.
Right.
So I put together processes to build hundreds of these at a time. I purchased parts. Like this part right here used to be a part that we glued a threaded insert into. You can see it's threaded in there. How do I get up? Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Now I have it manufactured with the thread in it, so there's less work putting it together. The nozzle.
Well, and better durability, I'd imagine, when it's screwed in like that.
Yeah, the nozzle comes in and goes out. This nozzle extends so you can get a good long suction
Right.
from where it goes in. This nozzle here stays fixed, kind of like a snuffer bottle, so you can see that
Right.
nozzle goes up inside there, and you end up with a snuffer bottle. So snuffer bottle effect. So this is a different thing than these are some improvements that we've made to this thing. And so it's different than you don't just suck it up and put it in the pan and suck it up again. You suck it and you shake it and you suck it and you shake it because your heavies are dropping in this funnel
Into that section. Yeah.
Right. And then you take this off and you tap it into the gold pan.
Right.
And that's how, right. So when somebody gets one of these, they're like saying, this is like nothing I've ever used. I don't understand this. Well, once they use it, they're like, holy moly, this is great. This is way quicker and easier than the thing I used to use. Because
that thing is absolutely bad to the bone, man.
So anyway, I retail these for $54. This one is free. What's your process for doing a drawing?
So what we typically do is we do a name wheel. So for everybody that's actively watching what we got going on, we tell them to throw their name down in the comment section. We read off the names, put it into a name wheel, and then we get drum roll, rocking and rolling, and then pick a name.
All right. So listen up, viewers. I've got this. I've got the boomer box, which attaches onto a sluice box.
Look at that bad boy.
Flare. You can pump directly into this with your golden sand. And I've got two t-shirts.
We got some giveaways.
A boomer box, a quick sniper, and 2 t-shirts. If you want to go ahead and get your
yeah, we can get it rocking and rolling. Let's go ahead and go for the what do you want to start off with there, Cash? We could start off with one of those. Which one would you like to start with? And then we can get that name roll rocking and rolling.
Everybody type in their preference. The first one that gets 5 is the one we'll do first.
Sounds like a plan. So go ahead.
All right, you heard them, folks.
Yep.
Type it in. Type in what you want them to give away first, and that's what we'll give away first.
Don says,
Thanks, Cash.
Don says, hey, Jaron, just don't forget shipping. Well, guess what, asswipe? He's shipping those out from his place. Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, I get so behind on shipping things out to a bunch of good winners. And Jaron, you know, it's funny because Don said he was actually going to be nice this time around, Eero. Damn it.
Let's see. Box. It's tied up. Sniper.
There we go. We got one more.
And sniper. Okay, sniper it is.
Yep. Sniper tool it is. All right, let me go ahead and open up the name wheel. Don't start putting your names in there just yet.
I send this out with an instruction thing while you're working on that. With any of these tools that are geared to get the bottom, just get the bottom of the hole. Everybody who's shoveling in there is disturbing the material and the heavies are dropping. The shovel's pulling out everything that didn't drop. If you're using this to remove material you could get out with a shovel, you're breaking it's just a lot of work. Shovel it out to the bottom and take the bottom. 85% of the gold is going to be in the bottom.
Right.
Let someone else take the overburden. And if they want it bad enough, you shovel it into their bucket. Just and then pull out what's in the bottom of the hole. You want to give instructions on the wheel, or?
Yeah, no, I just didn't want to interrupt you there. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Everybody that wants to be in on the badass piece of equipment here, go ahead and put your name into the comments. Eero is going to read off the names. I'm going to throw them in the name wheel, and then we'll get a drum roll in the comment section, and then give that bad boy away. So everybody watching right now, looks like we got 36 on StreamYard.
So we
I'm
got
trying to keep up. 29
right,
on
go.
Facebook. So yeah, so go ahead and start giving me names. I'll put them in the name wheel, and then we'll get a drum roll. What do we got, Earl?
All right, we got Don Went,
Got it.
Michael Crawford,
Got it.
Raymond Corries. What up,
Ooh,
Ray?
Mr. Raymond, what's up, brother, man?
Robert E. Lee. What's up, Mr. Robert Lee?
Robert Lee over in Alaska. Who else we got?
Glenn Silva. What's
Mr.
up, Glenn?
Glenn. What's going on, Glenn?
We got Landon Carter.
Landon Carter. Got him.
Got Fred Messimer. What's up, Fred?
Hey, what up, Fred? He's over in my neck of the woods. All right, who else?
We got David Osterberg.
Mr. David Osterberg. What's up, buddy? All right,
Jason Tower. Jason Tower.
Jason Tower. All right.
Rick Stash.
Mr. Rick Stash.
What's up, buddy?
Like crystals while you guys are doing that.
Oh, nice.
All right, what else we
Cricket
got?
Hooks. Cricket Hooks.
Cricket Hooks. You just keep piling them on me.
Tina Williams. Michael Davis. Terry Fife. CJM Win.
Say that again. CJ.
CJM and then Win. WIN.
Okay.
We got Michael Schmidt.
Okay.
Charlie Polly.
Okay.
We got Raymond Williams. Taff Williams.
Raymond Williams.
Yep. We got Tim Peterson.
Oh, we got Tim Peterson in the building. Mr. Dream Matt, what's up, big dog? How you doing?
We got James Butler.
James Butler, what's going on? All right, who else we got?
We got Philip Berry. Apparently, I missed him. He commented again.
Philip Berry. Well, guess what? I didn't miss him this time.
Joseph Bursey.
What's the last name?
Bursey, Bursey.
All right.
All right. If we didn't call your name, let us know. We'll give you a couple minutes here.
Give him the 10-second countdown. It's the final. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see. Jeff Berg just signed in, so we'll throw him in there.
Jeff what?
Jeff Berg, BRG. What's up, Jeff? He is one of our Northern Washington
All right.
Gold Russian.
Looks like we got some YouTubers here, so I'm gonna grab. Oh, go for it.
Christy Parham.
Yep, you got it.
What's up, Christy?
What's going on, Christy? We were actually supposed to meet up today before the podcast. I ended up doing some thrift store shopping and watching the back of my eyelids for an hour. It was pretty nice.
I see Rick is doing the drum roll.
Yeah,
Yep,
we're
excited.
He's ready. He's ready to rock and roll. All right, we got Dan Rouse. Let's see, we got Dan Brown, YouTube side of things. We got Kyle King.
Throw Logan McCall in.
Let's see, Mucking Placer. You said Colin?
Logan McCall.
Logan McCall. Okay. Got him.
Rick's excited.
Yep. Hey, Paul, I appreciate that. I am rocking and rolling with the YouTube comments here. It looks like we've gotten the vast majority of the folks watching on YouTube here. Let me scroll up just for a couple of seconds here, make sure that I got everybody else. Let's see. Yeah. Looks like I got everybody from YouTube. Let's see, John Pan, Mr. John Pan. Got you.
What's up, John?
I think that is it. Let's see. We got Logan. Yeah. Logan McCall. Logan, I love your beard, by the way, buddy. Your mustache. rocking the 80s mustache. I love it. Oh, that is too funny. Make sure we got Jason Tower. Yep, we do. All right, so let's go ahead and get at least 4 or 5 drum rolls in the Facebook comment section, and then we will spin this wheel. All right, we got one from Raymond. Jason Phelps. Jason Phelps. All right, I'll throw you in. Jason
Hey,
Phelps.
what's up, buddy? I've known Jason for 20 plus years.
That's awesome. Absolutely phenomenal. Hey, what's going on, Jason? All right, let's get some drum rolls in there. Come on, guys. There we go. We got two. We got one from Raymond and we got one from Michael W. Davis. You guys want to get this thing given away? Let's get some drum rolls in there. All right, there we go. We got three. All right, so let's rock and roll. Let's do it to it. Who is going to get it? And the winner is dun 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 dun. Oh, that was a close one between Rick Stash and Cricket Hooks. Cricket Hooks, you are the winner of that, buddy.
Oh,
Cricket Hooks
just missed out, Rick. Just missed out.
Mr. Cricket Hooks. All right, so with that being said,
Cricket.
Cricket, go ahead and send your information over to me, or you could send your information over to Mr. Cash Best through Facebook. Send it to me. I can get it sent to him instantly, or you can get a hold of him on his Facebook page, Cash Best. So yeah, good deal. Cricket Hooks, congratulations, buddy. I am sure you're going to absolutely love that. That is for damn sure.
Have him send it to you so that he can yell at you if he doesn't get it.
I catch all the fire around PB's neck of the woods these days. Oh, I absolutely love it.
It's the red goatee.
Yeah. Oh, that's too funny. Raymond
Right.
Corres, hold on. Raymond says, cricket is a dreader, not a sucker. Send the sucker to me. Well, you got to win it, buddy. You got to win it. All right, so let's go ahead and give away the good old Boomer box. In fact, I love that thing. That thing is freaking bad at the bone. I have one. I have a smaller one in my garage, as a matter of fact. I love it for all my cleanups. It just makes it a breeze for recirculating your garage.
This is 65 retail.
Absolutely. Oh, and you know what? Let's go ahead and put that website up there, Cash Best. I can actually get that. It should be, what is your website tab? It should be goldensand.com, correct?
Look at the picture.
Oh, let me see. I'm on Google here. There we go. Yep, I figured as much. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually put his link down at the bottom as we're giving the box away. That way you guys can actually go over there, get some of these awesome products. I mean, right off the get-go on the main page here, the Boomer box chilling right there. You got the Ergo, the handle, Quick Sniper, Extreme Hybrid Pro. I mean, and these are killer deals. These are freaking killer deals.
Place an order, send me an email, and I'll include a free gift.
Even better. You heard it, folks.
It's a handle. It's a pistol grip handle that converts your Quick Sniper to a Super Soaker.
So no, that is absolutely freaking bad at the moment.
Don Went wants to know what the size on the Boomer box is, but you said it fits flares, right?
Right, it slides on the flare, but it's 10 inches wide. I'm producing a smaller one, 8 inches, so it'll go on smaller sluice boxes as well. That should be out before the end of the summer.
Well, you better get on it, Cash.
I've already got it ordered. I'm picking it up in Oregon in about 2 weeks.
Nice. All right, so let's go ahead and give that bad boy away. So we got everybody in there. This is for the Boomer box. And one more time for the folks that did just jump on and didn't hear about it earlier. What is the width of that again, Cash?
The width is 10 inches, right? 10 inches. The water's flowing this way.
Yep.
And then these right here, you slide these onto the flare, or you take these off completely and you just drill a hole on your sluice box, and you use this hardware just to put the box
and it just mounts right there, nut and bolt.
Yeah, right up in the top where you'd feed it. In fact, you can actually use this to pick it up. It's the handle for your sluice box up on the top end too once you get it bolted.
Right. No, that's a
nice.
Freaking fine piece of equipment right there. That's for sure. All right, so let's see here. With that being said, let's go ahead and do. Let's get. Oh wow, we already got drum rolls. See, these guys catch on.
They're excited.
They're
ready to go.
They catch on. All the giveaways we've done throughout all of our 34 episodes. They catch on to this stuff. They know, we ain't doing nothing unless I see those drum rolls. So you guys are killing it. Oh, that is too funny. Sergio, what's going on, man? I'm going to actually add you into the name wheel here since you're on. All right, so we got drum rolls. Here we go. Let's see who gets it this time. And it is going to be Mr. Dan Brown. Dan Brown,
Yeah.
congratulations, buddy. Dan Brown.
Sweet.
All right, Gold Monkey Prospecting. Good deal. Well, congratulations, Dan. So what I'd
That's
like you to do,
awesome.
like I said earlier, make sure you send me the information, your address and whatnot, and that way I can get it sent over to Cash Best. We can get things rocking and rolling. What we're going to do now, though, is we're going to go ahead and give away what I talked about on the week before last podcast. So we were talking about the kids' pay dirt painting kit. What's up, Eero? Go for it, buddy.
I got a couple of people that just jumped in.
All right.
Let's see. We got Joey Burke.
All right. I'll go ahead and throw them in. Just give me a sec here. Okay, Joey Burke.
Yeah,
Who else?
and Chris Goo, Chris Goo, G-U-E.
Oh, it's Goo. Chris Goo.
Goo.
Gooey.
Goo.
Gold Monkey Prospecting says,
Yeah, maybe
wow,
it's me butchering
awesome.
names tonight.
Well, we'd love to be able to have guests come on the podcast, you guys, and spread the fun around. That's what it boils down to. We really want to make sure that, I mean, and the funny thing is about it, before I go off topic here, the funny thing is about it is there is somewhat of a modern day gold rush going on. And we were kind of talking about that a little bit, with the floodwaters, with the amount of snowpack, things like that. So, a lot of people are going out just from that alone, but the more we're able to interconnect and network with everybody in the community, the more it makes it a better place to be. It's a lot of fun, and that's what we strive to do over in the PV family. So enough of me bumping my gums here. So we're going to go ahead and give away our kids' pay dirt painting kits. That should be a lot of fun, huh? So first and foremost, I want to say, Tina, you do an absolutely badass job on these snuffer bottle holders. I tell you what, these things are freaking bad to the bone. Boom. You got yourself a little snuffer bottle holder, and you're getting yourself your little pieces of gold. Snuffer it right up, call her good. And then for the children in the PV family, bam, Prospecting Buddy Whippersnapper painter bag. Got some good gold in it, and then an 8-inch pan. So let's go ahead and get some drum rolls in there, and I'll go ahead and give that bad boy away. Rick Stash says, my sticker fell off my rig. Hey, you know what? I'll send you, I don't know if it was the old one or the new one, but I bought a big batch. There we go. We got some drum rolls coming. I bought a big batch of the new vinyl PV stickers. So if you need another one, Rick, I can send you one, buddy. No problem. In fact, I should have sent you one with that hat. I didn't even think about it. All right, so we got drum rolls. So let's go ahead and give this away. And then we have the last segment of the show with Cash Best talking about some more in-depth things going on in the community these days. With that being said, enough of me bumping my gums. We got plenty of drum rolls here. Let's see who wins it. Let's do it to it. Oh, close call between Sergio and Jason Phelps. Jason Phelps, you are the winner of the kids' pay dirt painting kit. Make sure you send me your address. You guys, if you don't send me your address, you get no prizes getting sent to your place. So please make sure you send me your address. That way we can get these products out there to you guys. So anyways.
The kids are going to have to arm wrestle over that one.
Yeah. There's going to be some sapphires in it. Going to be some good gold in it. And I've with as many kids as I've seen in the PV family, majority of their parents allow them to pan that dirt in their sink. If I had my kid pan dirt in my sink, they wouldn't be alive. There's, and as Eero being a plumber, I can only imagine what that does, wreaking havoc to your sink, right? Black sand in there, clogging everything up.
Actually, now I think about it, the black sand probably wouldn't make it past the P-trap. It would all just settle down there and clog up. So that'd be an easy clog. Unless you put a bunch of lighter sands through that can make that, then it might be a problem.
Well, the gold would stay in there too. So
you wouldn't lose any gold. So I guess that's a good thing.
Just pour dirt down our sink.
There you go.
Well, it's not like all of our P-traps are going to be clean, guys. They're going to have some damn grease and food particles. I mean, if that's what you want to do more.
Eero can send you his business card.
Yeah.
You're gonna need him.
Let me tell you, that's my favorite thing to do is clear drains.
Yeah. Plumbing
Mike
sluicing
and I,
challenge.
we pan into a sink at Mike has a house. We call it the Gold House, where we keep all of our equipment. We've overrun it too. It's a 3-bedroom house, and it's got a big living room area. I mean, all of our stuff, our wetsuits, all of our sluice machines, we got spirals, we got just amazing stuff in there.
Right.
But we pan in the sink, but we use two basins in the sink.
Right.
So the
right.
overflow, the overflow goes in there, and
Just
we
the water.
recycle most of our water.
Yep.
Anyway,
That's too funny. Yeah, my brother, quite a while back, he had won some free pay dirt from one of the YouTube channels, and he sent me a picture, and he was painting it in his bathtub, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man? You're
was that
going.
even a catch basin?
No catch basin, just his bathtub, and I'm like, what are you doing,
Oh
dude?
man,
It blew my
With a
mind.
little bag, of
that
paint.
now that's a little different. That's a little different. If you pan black sands into the tub, we are replacing your waste and overflow because there's no just taking the
Eero
P trap off.
Eero will send you his business card. Just a heads up, don't do that. Don't pan in the sink without a catch basin. Don't pan in
No,
the
I'm not
bathtub.
sending you my business card. That's not a job I want to do.
Oh, that is too funny. We got a couple
Just
comments
kidding.
here.
If you need help,
Yeah, no, if you guys do need help, reach out to Eero. He had a tough day today, specifically as it is, and we jumped on and we started talking, and yeah, he was still full of energy, that's for sure. So I knew he had a pretty fun day today, that's for sure. Let's do 3 comments, and then we're gonna go back to speaking with Cash Best and what's going on in his world these days. Let's see. Boss Dog Mining and Prospect. He says, thank you guys. Love the podcast. Congrats to the winners. I appreciate that. Thank you for the love, man. I really do appreciate it. We enjoy what we do over here. We love being able to talk with all the different people in the community. And it's a lot of fun. You know, on a Thursday or a Friday, you're able to sit back on the couch, crack a cold one, and watch us monkeys chew the fat all night. So I appreciate you guys. Let's see. We got 2 more here. Gold Monkey Prospecting says, where do I send you my info again? I'm shocked still. All you got to do, buddy, is just send me a personal message or one of the moderators through PB. It'll all get relayed back to me, your information. I'm pretty sure if you don't have a Facebook page or anything like that, you could just go ahead and put your address actually on our YouTube channel. On any one of the videos, I get instant notification on any comments like that. So if you don't have Facebook, you could always just put your address in one of the YouTube videos and I'll find it. If not, I could reach out to you after the podcast and give you my personal phone number and we can exchange from there. Let's see here. Thank you, Mr. Cash, Best, for joining us. What's that?
I was going to say, did you have 2 shirts you wanted to give away, Cash?
How long does it take you to set that up? Can you run the same wheel?
Yeah, it's ready to rock and roll. If we want to do that to it, that's fine with me.
Do it 3 times.
All right, let's do it to it. So 3 times. All right, so let's go ahead and get a drum roll in real quick. Thank you, Cricket Hooks, for the address. I appreciate that. We'll get you taken care of and squared away, buddy. And again, congratulations. All right, so you said do it 3 times, right, Cash?
Yeah, let's do it 3 times. My t-shirts, these are night shirts for what it's worth. 3L, 4L, 2L, 3L, 4L. I've got some pretty big t-shirts. I got some small ones too, but the best variety is in the larger ones.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I've learned a lot about t-shirt sales and sweatshirt sales. It's the sizes are a pain in the butt to get with certain colors and variations and yeah, fun stuff. All right, so we got tons of drum rolls here, so let's do it. I'm going to shut up. Let's go. Let's see who gets the first t-shirt. Let's do it to it.
Yeah, Don, just send me your email. Just send me an email, Don. I owe you some stuff anyway.
All right. That is going to be Michael Schmidt. Michael Schmidt, you are the winner of the t-shirt from Golden Sands. if you are still watching, brother man, make sure you send me your address. Send me a direct message, and I will make sure that gets relayed over to cash. Congratulations, Mr. Michael Schmidt. Good deal. All right, let's get some drum rolls. There we go. What's that?
Michael, when you send your email address, put in there what size you'd like if we have it. The worst case I'll do is give you one you can give to your aunt.
Yeah, I was going to say, give him a medium. Oh, man. All right. I'm bad. I know I am. All right, let's do it too. We got some drum rolls. All right, next person. Oh, that's a toss-up between Landon Carter and Glenn Silva. Glenn Silva is the winner of the second one. Mr. Glenn.
Yeah, buddy, Glenn.
Yeah, good to see Glenn, too. Good to see him rocking and rolling on social media. Good deal. Glenn, go ahead and send me your address. Like I said, I'll directly relay the message over to Cash Best, and we'll get you taken care of. When you do send me the message, make sure you send me T-shirt size. I forgot to mention that with Michael. You're definitely going to want a T-shirt size that actually fits you. So make sure you get it sent over my way, and we'll be good to go. All right, looks like we got one more. Let's get some drum rolls rocking and rolling in the comments there. All right, Sergio Fred says, congratulations. Rick says, congrats. Glenn, make sure you message me that size, buddy. We have over 444 comments on here. There's no way on God's green earth I will be able to scroll through all these comments to find that size. Make sure you private message me. All right,
remember,
last one.
If you ask for an XL, you're likely to get a 2XL because I have a bunch of big shirts.
That works. That works.
Just wash it in hot water.
That works. All right, Mr. Raymond Corres. Man, he just keeps just killing it on the PB giveaways. Raymond Corres, you're the third winner, buddy.
Yeah.
Man, he's just getting all sorts of PB swag, isn't he? Holy moly.
Yes, he is.
All right, Raymond, make sure that you send me your address. Well, actually, in fact, I have your address, buddy. Make sure you send me your T-shirt size one more time, private message. That way I can get that relayed over to Cash Best, and you guys be taken care of. All right, so at the end, we got about 20 more minutes, and we're going to cut it for the night, but I don't want to take too much of your time there, Cash. But some of the more important questions I really would like to ask you as we close the last part of the segment here. First question would be, what can we look forward to with what you have going on for the season of 2023 and the season of 2024?
Well, I believe in my heart that the best gold is the gold that's left behind in the hole after the guys with the shovels have left. That's why everybody wants to dredge, is because they're able to get the bottom of the hole. So what I'm doing is I'm putting together tools that are going to let people get the bottom of the hole. And so we're going to be introducing some new tools. And in addition to the shows, which are kind of in a toss-up, GPAA decided not to have shows this year. So a lot of private clubs and a lot of other groups have started to put together big outings and shows and rallies. And as those, Mike and I are putting together kind of a central calendar on those to help the people not conflict with someone else. The other thing is that the people who go with the vendors need to have a series of shows that's practical to drive. I can't be in Tennessee one week, in Southern California the next, in Massachusetts the next, right, in Arkansas or Arizona, excuse me. They would try to get us to do that because the people in Massachusetts don't care about what's going on in Central California. But when the vendors have to decide where to go, that reduces the size of the show and its attractiveness to the local prospectors. So we're doing things to try to increase the shows. At the same time, we're lobbying hard with GPAA for them to put together a different show schedule, but a show schedule that works. Right. And I could give you some detail on that, but I think it's too early. I don't want to twist their arms. We've given some workable solutions to them. Most of them are saying, this deserves some serious thought, but we don't know the result of the serious thought yet. We saw the result of serious thought last time when they decided not to do any shows. Yeah. And I understand why they do that, because 2000 was truncated and 2001 practically didn't exist, or 221, and then 22, when they finally came back together, a lot of people, I mean, they had lost its steam, right? So 23 would have been the first year, the second year back, it would have been picking up steam, but they looked at 20 and 21 and 22 and said, we're not going to keep doing this. We can't lose like we have been. And I understand why they made that decision. But I'm hoping they make some new decisions coming up. I don't know how soon they're going to be making those decisions. But you'll see Mike and I travel as much as we can. We're going to try to hit Arizona, New Mexico, California, Nevada, Washington, Oregon, Montana, Wyoming, hopefully Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota. And then we're going to try to get over into North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, as well as Tennessee and Indiana and Alabama. I mean, if you take a look, there's two good gold stripes, one on the West Coast all the way down to the south, and then there's one that cuts right through Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, and Indiana.
Right.
So we're going to try to get to some more of the events out there. The other thing we're trying to do is broaden the appeal. Both of the equipment that we sell, our primary equipment is Gold Cube and Golden Sand, and those are both water prospectors. That's one of the reasons why we added metal detecting to our product offering. And we're putting together another new company that I'm not ready to roll yet, but we're putting together another company that's going to have some prospecting tools that are going to be fairly affordable and fairly attractive as well. Because we're trying to make sure that our appeal is a little bit broader, and that way we can get a little bit thinner and go a little bit farther out with the price of gas and all that kind of stuff. We have to do this, but we're doing it almost at a loss right now. It's sometimes I'll get $1,200 out of a sale, out of a show, and that show took me 3 days to get there, 2 days at the show, and 3 days to get back. And the only way I can do that is if I also spend all my time stocking all this equipment up, so that my wife could put labels on it and send it out for the online orders. Now the neat thing is, I was up in Coeur d'Alene, and I probably got I would say a dozen orders in the past 2 weeks from northern Idaho. So the prospectors are faithful to come out when they see a product that looks good, even when they're not ready to pack it around the show. They're pretty good. They're pretty faithful to get on the websites and order them up. And we don't feel it, but we know we have to do it. So we're going to continue to do it, but we're going to do it with some more tools.
Well, another question I wanted to ask. Oh, go for it, Eero.
Since you've been going to all these private or not private club gold shows, the smaller shows are popping up because GPA is not doing their thing. Do you think those have gotten a little bit bigger and a little more attention on them, the smaller shows, than they used to since GPA stepped back?
Well, I think what I've seen, I can tell you what I've done, and then I can tell you what I've seen. Dan Rouse was on here. Dan Rouse opened a company, Prospectors Treasure Trove in Beaverton, Oregon, last year about this time. Mike and I were traveling through, and I used to prospect with Dan. When I was out in Oregon, he was one of my prospecting buddies, and encouraged him to open the shop even. But when we put together, we decided, hey, let's do an outing. And it literally took us 9 days on the internet to get over 95 people at that outing at Lawson Bar. Dan's saying, I'm here, Cash.
I saw that.
So we're going to be, his first year anniversary was this month. And anyone in Beaverton that wants a golden egg with pay dirt in it, Dan's got them in his shop right now. But we're going to be out there at Lawson Bar on April the 24th, is it 23rd or 24th, Dan? It's Sunday. And you're all invited. We're going to be at the day before, we're going to be up at Battleground, Washington. And that's, you're invited to come out to that one as well.
23rd is what he said.
The 23rd, for some reason, my eyesight has gone with the way of my back. Okay, so in Washington on the 22nd and in Oregon on the 23rd. I'm serious, man. My memory and my eyesight. I'm glad my wife loves me.
I'm just trying not to be a smart ass. I'm just saying, at least you still got your good looks, but you can't see them.
You'll get there, buddy.
I'm halfway there already. I got 2 different prescriptions.
Hey, they don't even ask me for ID when I get the senior discount at the
Half excited, half insulted.
Oh, yeah, it used to be, where's my, gosh, I wish I had the senior discount. Now it's like, why don't they even ask?
That's almost insulting. That's too funny.
We have a kids
Oh,
menu
man.
for lighter eaters.
Oh, that's too funny.
So
Well,
we're
we
so
got a
we're doing
comment that came in real quick. This is for you, Cash. Any East Coast shows?
the East Coast shows are on hold. The only thing that I saw, there's one in Indiana that we're trying to get out to next year. I don't think we're going to get out to it this year. Jeff Benke plans it. There's 2 or 3 of them out there in the Indiana area, big outing and a show. But we're going to do Baker City the weekend after after we do Lawson's Bar. Because the Capital Prospecting East, he moved out to Baker City. Gary, I'm telling you, my memory, forget it. Capital Prospecting West in Oregon, and then Capital Prospecting East out in Baker City. He opened his shop about 5 or 6 months ago. He's adding a line of e-bikes, and he's going to rent e-bikes during the summer also to keep his shop busy. But
Nice.
Gary Earl, right?
Earl,
Gary,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
bought
we're
a
gonna
mini
be out.
Allen Trees box off him.
Alan Trees was the gold
Sorry,
grabber.
go ahead.
Alan Trees was the inventor of that gold grabber pen we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's what I got,
So-
the little one.
We got
From,
one more
Gary
comment
Earl.
here. If we want to rephrase what was going on in Battleground there, Cash.
So
Pay
what's the name of that
attention.
park, Don? Don, what's the name of that park in Battleground? We're going to be out there doing an outing.
Now, is that
In
open to the
Oregon,
public?
yeah, anyone who wants to go. In Oregon, it's going to be at Lawson Bar, and then Daybreak Park in Battleground.
Daybreak Park and Battleground.
Right, and so Battleground's on the 22nd, and then Lawson's Bar is on the 23rd.
Was going to ask a similar question. I'm from New Brunswick.
Tell you what, the challenge with the East Coast shows is that there's not a string of them. It's a long ways to go for one show. And we just can't do it. We got too much stuff. It's with a truck and a camper, or with the shuttle and the camper. By the time we run out there and back, we spent $2,400 in gasoline. So we've got to find a string of shows. If we could find one in South Carolina, one in North Carolina, one in Indiana, one down in Georgia at Dahlonega, if we could find 3 or 4 like that, then we might be able to go up north and grab Connecticut, or grab another one of those, Vermont, somewhere where there's gold, and then come back through eastern Michigan and the Great Lakes. So the problem is they're not in a string. Michael Crawford, second weekend in February, there's a Quartzsite Gold and Gem Show. Every year we go to that.
You got to make sure you get there, Michael, and give Cash some, go give him some shit. Go over there, say hi to him.
That Quartzsite show is
Cash
the
some
weekend.
Cash.
Is usually the weekend
Yeah.
before Valentine's Day, and we do metal detecting in the area there. We do fairly good in Arizona metal detecting. Be there, Christopher. Go there. It's good. Those events are going to be nice. Okay, so then it comes to other events. Whenever Gary Earl said, "I want you to do for me what you did for Dan." That's why we ended up with one in Baker City, because he knew we did them last year.
Right, right.
And we're encouraging people to get together and do it. The other dynamic that's interesting is that the gold clubs would get in conflict with GPAA because the things they did at GPAA show that they didn't want them to do, or something.
Yep.
Where they were compared to where they thought they were going to be, those kinds of things. Without the GPAA shows, the gold clubs are free to do whatever they want, right? So it's a catch-22. Now it's okay, do it yourself. And let's see how it goes. The GPA is not saying do it yourself and let's see how it goes. I'm saying do it yourself and let's see how it goes. But let's coordinate it so that we can go the route and we can support it as well as we can. And we'll call other vendors and get them out there too. There's that guy that does Columbia River Mining, does Spin It Off. There's Jeff that does the Geo Sluice.
Yeah.
Robert at Royal Manufacturing. He and I were talking just the day before yesterday, and he says, "Where are you going next?" I mean, we talk to these people about where we're going and what we're going to do, and we try to get out there. it's a good thing for us to do Friday night after setup and Saturday night after show too, because we'll go out and get a cold beer and a piece of pizza and rest.
Right.
There's a lot of fatigue associated with that too. But we'll, if the clubs put something together, a big outing or a rally, we're going to get out in July, or is it August or July? The one that's up in Potato Patch in Liberty. It looks like it's in August.
Oh,
We're going to be
miners
up.
rally.
Yeah, we're going to be up
The
in
miners
Liberty
rally.
then. Right.
Yeah, I'll be there.
We're going to be up.
Yeah, cool.
We'll be okay. So we'll be, Mike and I will be there. We're going to be at the Big Golden Gym Show in Sacramento the week of 2 weeks prior to Liberty. And then there's going to be ICMJ is sponsoring a big gold show in Downeyville a week before Liberty. We're going to be there as well. Josh Renke was on earlier. Those of you who don't know, Josh Renke has the ICMJ. I've got a full page ad in his magazine. Not it used to be. It moves around, full page, quarter page, whatever. I've got an ad in his magazine. And but the ICMJ is a great magazine that has some really good gold information.
Yeah, he's been doing a phenomenal job. We talked about one of the original editors that used to edit for the ICMJ. I can't think of his name right now, but the guy was absolutely,
Chris Ralph.
Yep, Chris Ralph. Yep. Yeah, and it has just insanely good knowledge in the ICMJ magazine. Me and Josh are actually pretty good friends. We talk quite a bit back and forth. And that was one of the events over there in Downeyville that I wanted to make it to this summer, really, really bad. So, yeah, we had him on the podcast, and he actually gave a 1-year membership away, and one of our mods, Tina, actually won it, and he's kicking ass and taking names over there in California. He's definitely made a name for himself, that's for sure. And
I wanted to
acquiring
throw
the
in
ICMJ. What's that?
Go ahead.
What's that?
Oh, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Oh, and him acquiring the ICMJ magazine is freaking awesome. Absolutely awesome.
His Josh Renke Mining JRM and the club he's got, and the guy he's got that kind of manages that, Jared Roundsville. Amazing people. Mike and I went down into one of their claims, and we blew out our transmission, and we were stuck in the claim. And he came down and he went up to town and brought back a tire and 4 gallons of transmission fluid, and it just got us back on the road. Jared Roundsville works with Josh on that JRM mining claim, and amazing people. Get down there if you don't know Josh. Get to know him and encourage him. He needs encouragement. He's not 1 year yet into ICMJ, and it's a lot of hard work. So give him all the encouragement that you can as well.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yep. But he'll be in Downeyville. He'll be a big presence at the Downeyville show. He's collaborating with the Downeyville area to put that show together. It's sort of a rally, but it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's like 3 or 4 days.
Right. Well, honestly, if you look at it this way, Cash, with GPA, and I'm not going to say necessarily dropping the ball on the shows, but if you're not making money, I mean, at the end of the day, you're hemorrhaging more than you're making. You got to kind of put a stop to it. And like you said, the steam wasn't there, and that's why they sent out that email to all the GPA members. However, however, if you look at the community and how big it is, and all these different phenomenal folks and vendors, I don't see why someone doesn't pick that ball up and keep it rocking and rolling and start making these shows happen. Even without GPA, nothing against them or anything, but making shows happen. The Pacific Northwest region, you got Midwest region, you got East Coast. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I think it's going to take the right individual per territory to be able to make that happen, but I think it's very plausible. I really do.
Yeah, here's what I believe. I believe that the economics of the show, when you put it together, are not easy to put together. When GPAA stops talking to 2,500 to 5,000 people at 9 or 10 different outings a year, they feel it in the follow-up business. But the follow-up business isn't obvious when they're doing the economics of the show. And any business that looks and says, hey, look, this is taking 80% of our time, and we could only attribute 20% of our income to this time, it's a
Right.
no-brainer. Drop it, right? Let it go like a hot potato.
Right.
But there's so many factors that decision, like I said, we are begging them to revisit it. We've given them some options that we think would work, that are a mixture of the two, not spending as much effort as you do, but trying to get that return, maybe semi-annually or something. So what we find though is that the outings, we tried to do something in Southern Oregon. The casino floor was going to be the best place to go for the size that we needed, but the casino we didn't have a track record with them, and they weren't like jumping on saying, yeah, let's get this date reserved for you. I mean, there were reasons why it just didn't get off the ground. GPAA has a track record, they can pull it out. And we, for example, exhibitors, we would be glad as exhibitors to pay twice what we pay per booth space, if that's going to make it better. So, I mean, it just, and I think that the people, what is it, $10 each to get in?
That's $5. I paid $5 to get in.
Yeah, but you'd pay twice that if they said we have to double it to do these, keep these shows going. You'd pay 10.
In a heartbeat. Yeah, I mean,
right.
you're supporting something that needs to be supported to keep prospecting alive. I mean, that's the reality.
So I don't think they really did I don't think they did the amount of work that was necessary to figure that out.
Right.
I think they looked at the retail sales, because they sell T-shirts and scoops and sluice boxes and stuff, and they said we're not getting anything compared to what we're putting into this. And I think that the periphery was a little bit too focused on immediate return. So I think it'll come back, but
it's a shift in time.
You're breaking up there, Eero. Yep.
Yeah, he's got that internet that stops at 8 p.m.
Yes, he does.
Oh, sorry, I'm cutting in and out all of a sudden.
It's a boomer thing.
Yeah. No.
Oh, no pun intended. Oh, that's too
Look
funny.
at him, he's giving up.
Oh, he is too. All right, well,
all right. So
you want to try it again? You want to try it again, Eero?
Yeah, let's see. I was just going to say, I think it's a shift in time. We've lost our, with the technological age and being more focused on social media and electronics. The culture's lost the lust for being outdoors and the adventure and the, taking part of what's been going on, and a big part of why we're here for a very long time.
Yeah,
see that number right there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously that too, but
that's going to bring all these people back. So
hopefully.
Yeah. So there's other factors. That's very macroeconomic. But the point is that there's other factors that the optics just need to be expanded, and they'll come back.
Right.
Well, and that's what we're trying to help do here. We're trying to bring, the people who are social media bound, so to speak. We're trying to give them some energy and influence to want to get out there and do it. Obviously, most of the people that are on the show here are into it, but if we can spread that word, even better.
I sold my gold to buy my 6,000, and now it's up $200 an ounce.
How does that feel?
Of course it is. That's just the way it goes.
How does that
feel? The good news is I'm finding more gold with the 6,000.
That's good.
Self-perpetuating.
That's good.
All right. Any other questions? I want to come back on. There's more.
No, definitely. Yeah, and we definitely have to reschedule you. I know it's going to be pretty busy this season for you, and we got so much stuff lined up. It's impossible to try to get it all out in one podcast. But I'd honestly say for the last question, I mean, you already kind of covered it with what you and Mike are doing with the shows coming up and whatnot, where you guys are going to be at. I'd want to honestly say for the last question to wrap up the night would be, what can you, for everybody watching, what can you tell them to be encouraged to continue to go out and prospect, to be encouraged to grab some equipment and go and test out a place that they usually go and camp at or dig at? What kind of words of encouragement can you give the folks watching?
I think the strongest thing that I can say is don't do it for the gold, do it for the fellowship. Because if you're out with people that you enjoy spending time with and you're doing things you love to do, there's a lot of gold in that right there. At the end of a season, you're going to find that your return on gold is more than it would have been if you weren't having fun and hanging out with people that you enjoyed hanging out with and meeting new people and being open-minded. So I think you just need to go out and spend quality time with quality people with your eyes wide open to the possibilities of getting better and learning what you can about gold. The gold will follow. Don't go into this professionally unless you are extremely experienced and well prepared and fairly well bankrolled. Otherwise, you're just going to come home sad. My son is up in Nome, Alaska full time. He's an underwater welder and a mechanic. And he's a miner during the winter season and during the summer season, both. He's not making the bulk of his money mining. He's making the bulk of his money because he can make every snow machine run again, and because he can weld, and because he can put stuff together and help people out in pinches. The gold is a secondary thing. In fact, he doesn't even try to do the gold anymore. He wants to be on the top. He wants to be running the equipment. He wants to be the assistant to the owner. Because the hose time is not enough to get the amount of gold you want. And so it's the same thing with the pros as it is with us. We're not getting as much time as we want in the extreme. So we got to go there because we want to hang out there with the people that we love. That will make our gold mining pay off bigger than ever.
Right on the button. Well, with that being said, everybody watching this evening, I greatly appreciate you guys jumping on and seeing what we got going on for this podcast. It was kind of a toss up. We get busy, things go crazy, but we were able to make it happen this evening, and that's absolutely phenomenal. Cash, we definitely have to have you on another episode. We got a crap load of stuff to talk about.
I'm ready when you are. We're going to be on the road for 4 weeks. I could do it from the camper, but I'll be ready when you are. If you have someone cancel at the last minute, you might even get Mike and I at the same time. And
that's even better. That's double trouble.
It's triple trouble.
Triple trouble. So with that being said, everybody that's watching, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Eero, I appreciate you jumping on as my co-host every other Thursday, kicking ass and taking names. Cash, I appreciate you as a guest. With that being said, you guys have a good evening and tune in. Not next Thursday, but Thursday after. We'll be right back at it, kicking ass and taking names. With that being said, you guys have a good night. Cash, you have a good night.
All right. Thanks. Over and out.
Later, guys.
See you guys. That worked out good. Good deal. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was a good show. Yep.